When I started writing about this, I felt that the first time we went into a lockdown, there was a bit of a collegiate in the trenches, whatever we can do kind of approach, and so there was a bit more forgiveness if things were done slightly clumsily, because as you alluded to, if service is done, it's better than no service. Then when we came out here in the UK and across Europe, and I know we kind of then we went back into it in different phases in different regions. I almost felt that there was a little less forgiveness because it was like, right, guys, you've had 6 months to get your ducks in a row. You should be able to deliver service remotely now if I need it. And there was a bit more of an expectation. But equally, I think that there was also a bit more of an understanding, almost a habit. You know, what's the old adage? It takes about 66 days for a habit to form. I wonder if collectively we've just become accustomed and accepting of remote service in a way that we never would have before. So I'd be interested to see in a year's time the impact of that on CSAT, and we'll be tracking it here. But just a year ahead, I'd love to get your thoughts on whether you think that will be a trend that will continue, or whether we'll go back a little bit more towards the status quo.
Well, if I first look at a data point that we got out of this research, is that what we have seen is in 1 year time, or less than 1 year time, we have seen that the best-in-class companies, they have really significantly improved one of the indicators that we call mean time to diagnose. So that means that a call comes in, usually it comes in the first line. If it's a complex thing, a complex service request, then probably comes in by phone. And then how much time does it take until the diagnose is completed, so that the service provider knows what the problem is and know what to do about it. So it's not yet fixed, it's just diagnosed. So that metric, we have seen that improve quite significantly from originally 25 minutes a year ago, so in 2019, let's say, to now on an average of 6.7 minutes, let's say 6 minutes. Yeah. So that's, an improvement of 18 minutes, which is significant. And that means that those best-in-class companies, they have really done a good job in improving. And I think it's like, we don't have much data on how they have done it, but more from anecdotal conversations that I had with these best-in-class companies. It's not just the technology that is doing the trick. It's a lot of different capabilities. For example, do you have people with the right skills in the right place in the right moment available? Do you have the right processes? Do you have the right policies or management practices, as we call them, in place? So there's a lot more to it than just technology. And I think also what we have noticed is that the customers, the end customers, that maybe in the past were more accustomed to just getting a field engineer on site, and when you have no other option than getting a remote fix, then they're more collaborative. They're more willing to help and work with you. And I think that level of acceptance on the customer side and their, let's say, ability and willingness to work with the service provider, for example, to diagnose on site, to do things with or without technology, that is also has improved a lot. So like that, I think what we see also in the data is that the companies that have already started this process, that are that have, let's say, a digitalization strategy, you see them performing better overall. And that is that the companies that just started implementing the tools, the skills, the processes during the pandemic, they score not as good. So it is sometimes not an enormous difference, but there is a markedly different performance in the companies that have this digitalization strategy, that have, let's say, generally a higher level of maturity and development of their service delivery organization. And I can mention you a couple of interesting data points here. Is that you see that the so-called elapsed time to repair, so meaning the indicator that starts from when the service request is recorded in the service organization, so typically at the first line, until the issue is completely resolved. That is called the elapsed time to repair. And that indicator, for the companies that had that higher level of maturity already, in the best-in-class companies, that has improved quite a lot, with 24% in 1 year time. Now, we're benchmarking already for quite a while, many years, but we haven't seen such improvements in a long time. So I think that's that's an interesting aspect of it. And of course we see the connection between let's say that overall better operational performance. So you see it reflected in customer satisfaction. Obviously, it's not a, I said, a chicken and egg question. Obviously, the operational performance comes first, and if you do all these things right consistently, you see that not only the customer experience is better, but also we have measured the employee satisfaction with the customer, with the company. Yeah. So you can imagine companies that are completely set up for it, and they can have, for example, their people work from home. They could switch quite easily. Well, in this situation, they obviously are a lot more satisfied than those employees that had to come to the office or had to travel in these difficult times.